got something a little different. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. So I'm so glad to hear that, Lisa. I'm so glad to hear that. I guess I should watch over here. Because then there's like a lag, I guess. But that is very good news. Let me get myself set up. Sorry. Yes, I'm going to read a story. So probably like I'll have a thing to just be like, "Hey, hi, I'm Jenny." And tonight I give you Full Moon Story Hour. Yeah, so when I attended Death Valley Junction History Days, and I totally forgot to get my card. Oh my gosh. Hi, Desert Runner. But Charles, you're not supposed to get the notification on time. What's happening? Don't forget to smash that like button, which I think everybody has. But let me get the card. I want to show you this cool card. Okay, sorry. Totally forgot to grab it. So, we had this. Hi, 100 Roadhouse. And Larry. Oh, Larry. That's exciting. Oh, I'm so glad. That's really exciting. You'll have to tell us, well, when you're ready. When you're ready, you'll have to tell us all about it. Because that's exciting news. For you just joining me, trying something a little different. I have a lot of videos to pop up, but for those of you who are unaware, not only do I have ADHD, I also struggle with PTSD, and it's been a little rough the last week or so. But just like the waves in the ocean, I just keep trucking. I didn't get thrown out of my boat. I just, yeah. In all reality, I filmed way too much stuff and then just did not know what to edit. That's exactly. So I'm mid editing a really great video, but I didn't post yesterday, so I just decided to come live and read this story that I've been wanting to read. So we're gonna read. Oh, and it's backwards. So Oh, and there's Charles. Yeah, you just happened. I'm happening along. So, Death Valley Junction had this amazing thing called Death Valley Homecoming, where we were had a weekend that was filled with all kinds of stuff. We had food, we had entertainment, we had history, we had Ryan Camp come down and talk to us. It was a great, on the back, if you attended, on the back you can see there's these different events. And then each event you went to, you like got your card snapped. But since, I just worked there, like I was just there, so my card's not pumped off. But I did go to all the events. So, hi Jerome, it's cold in Virginia. It's getting cold in the desert here. I got a new beanie. I was excited about that. And then Case, there's lots of flooding in Washington and Canada. We don't have rain here yet. We do not have rain here yet. But that's okay, it'll come. So I thought I'd do something a little different. And that is, we're going to read the story about the prostitutes at Death Valley Junction. Because I got this really cool book on that weekend, and it's called The Red Light Women of Death Valley. It actually encompasses all the workers that they could find, some history about in the Death Valley area, and they compile in this really cool little book that I have. And so there is a small section. Now, the book itself is what? 120 something page, 130 pages. And it's filled with all kinds of stuff. And it encompasses the women from the west side of the park all the way over and then up into Rhyolite. Oh, yes. In just a second. Yeah, isn't it a fascinating topic? Especially because, like, there just wasn't modern conveniences back there. This was not modern conveniences. Oh, Charles got some snow. And 18 Fahrenheit in central BC. That's cold. Jeez, that's cold. Yeah, no, we're not that cold here. We're not that cold here. So the story we're going to read tonight is the story. It's chapter 9 in the book. And it's a rendezvous of low-grade characters. So, okay, so I'm just going to read for a bit, and then I probably won't pay attention to the chat, just because I can't do those at the same time. And I'm just saying this out loud. For those of you viewers who maybe say something, and I will get to your comments when we take a pause, and I will show you the pictures too. Okay, so when the Pacific Borax Company began pushing its Tonopah and Tidewater Railroad through the white-hot crags of the Amargosa Canyon in the summer of 1906, legend has it that the endeavor required 3 constantly rotating groups of men. First came the ones who were doing the back-breaking labor under a grueling sun. Second, the ones who were throwing water on the first set to keep them alive. And third, the ones who were coming up behind to replace the men whose strength gave out or who quit while they could still walk away. And along behind them, on the back of a freight wagon, with her husband and 2 little boys, rode a young woman on her way to the wide-open desert where she would one day become a legend. Okay, so real quick, I forgot, hello. So, this book is written by Robin Flinchum. I met the author at the Junction when she gave a speech. I believe you can find this on Amazon, if you would like to order the book. Yes, it is, but we're going to learn about Mrs. Tubbs. Because Mrs. Shotgun Kitty, that's who we're learning about today. She got the name because she used to just walk around with a shotgun and didn't take any business. None at all. So Kitty Marbaker had come out west from Pennsylvania as a teenage mail-order bride only a few years before and married 33-year-old Bob Tubb, an Arizona freighter and an entrepreneur on the watch for the right opportunity. In 1906, he saw a chance to capitalize on the coming of the new railroad. Bob and Kitty Tubb and their 2 small children, Leon and Robert, set out for a barren, wind-blown bit of desert slated as the junction pointed for the TNT, and it spurred to the borax mine at the edge of Death Valley. They followed the TNT as the worker laid down its tracks, and when the construction stalled out during the heat of the summer, they traveled on ahead and filed a homestead claim to a piece of land south of the proposed spur and east of the main line route. Okay, so that's Mr. Mr. and Mrs. Tubbs. Mr. Tubbs was just like Mr. Entrepreneur Man. And so, if you're just joining us, we're reading a story about the prostitutes of the Death Valley Junction. And we're talking about Mr. and Mrs. Tubbs. But Mr. and Mrs. Tubbs, they, what that story just told you is that he went ahead and he knew where the mine was, and he knew where the little town was, and he knew where they were going to put the railroad to go out to the Lila Sea. So he got his claim in between there so that the miners didn't have to walk 7 miles to get to the junction. They only had to walk, I think 3 miles to get to his setup, where he had a bar and a store and apparently girls. So I thought that was brilliant. I've got random trivia about Mr. and Mrs. Tubbs. He was just Mr. Like, I'm gonna do it. We need this. We're doing it. Right? Okay. So, seeing this, high-minded British officials of the Pacific Borax Company became concerned. Okay, that would make sense. It would make sense that they would be kind of concerned that all of a sudden here comes a tent saloon. And then they petitioned the Board of Supervisors of Inyo County, which I didn't realize there was Board of Supervisors in back in 1906, but all right. Here's a picture of the freight wagon. That's looks like 1906 it says. That's some lady and her 2 kids. I'm just like, okay, that's fascinating. So the Board of Supervisors in Inyo County. Okay, this is the petition. Here's the petition. We beg you to try to regulate the liquor traffic so that it will be most impossible for tents or saloons to either commence or do business along the line of our railroad in your county during construction. A saloon on this desert, especially the class of saloons that follow railroad construction camps, are nothing more or less than a rendezvous for low-grade characters, women as well as men, whose only occupation is to fleece the working man by thieving or other criminal means. Okay, so that's interesting. And during Prohibition out at Death Valley Junction in this part of Death Valley, they were just basically like, cuss you. We're not paying attention to you. You could get alcohol at Death Valley Junction during Prohibition. Because it was a desert. Nobody was out there. Nobody wanted to go out there. Okay, sorry, but back to the book. But the Borax Company plea came too late, and soon Bob and Kitty were joined by all sorts of low-grade characters. All right. Railroad workers and their families populated the small settlement, and they were joined at the Tubbs' place by miners and travelers. Borax Company man Harry Gower, Harry Gower's Gulch. Shalom! Shabbat Shalom over bus. And hi, I always get it wrong. R32, R38. Hello, welcome. We're talking about red light ladies at the junction. Welcome on this Friday night to story time. Oh, man. Hold on, I needed a sip. So let's see. I got sidetracked by Mr. Gower because Gower's Gulch, like I just mentioned before I said hi to my friends, is a great place. Hey, shalom, northern backwoodsman. I feel like you are Nordic. I have no idea. But backwoodsman, I just feel Nordic, biking or that kind of thing. That's what I think of. Anyways, welcome. We're reading stories about red light ladies. So, we'll go to Gower's Gulch now that the weather's cooled off. We will go there. I go there a lot. I've just never taken my camera. But so Mr. Gower, because he spent a lot of years at the junction. He worked at Ryan Camp, and then after Ryan Camp closed, as they're like, hey, let's come, and I mean, that's a different story, but he moved to the junction and actually was a manager at the hotel for later in life. It is said that he recalled Tubbs Saloon was an institution consisting of a saloon, a desert store, a food emporium, a hotel, and, speaking plainly, a disreputable roadhouse, all operated by Bob Tubbs, his family, and the associated scoundrel of both sexes. And Kitty would hold the whip hand over the unruly crowd at the junction for the next several years, while her fierce temper and expert marksmanship earned her the nickname of Shotgun Kitty. Because, yeah, she would just cruise around, but she was such a good shot. She was also in charge of the women who worked in the cribs behind the saloon and also of the restaurant. Wash Calhill, superintendent for the T&T Railroad, recalled that the Tubbs sold an occasional meal to a weary traveler or semi-blind people who could not observe the sanitary conditions. Those who sometimes had to eat there and were in the know generally ordered boiled eggs in the shell and potatoes with the jacket still on. So I guess if you ordered your basically like a hard-boiled egg and potatoes in the skin boiled, it was safe, I guess. Here's a picture of this is a portrait that they took right before they moved and came out to Death Valley. That's Kitty Tubbs and her husband and her 2 kids. Back in those days, Calhill remembered Tiger Lil often stopped for a hand of poker on her way to some boom camp farther down the tracks. Women were scarce in the desert, and Little Greenwater's confidant Celestia Fairbanks was running a roadhouse in Ash Meadows with her family, had also formed a friendship with Shotgun Kitty. Now, Greenwater is a really interesting town because that was like a boom town that was on the sunset side of the Black Mountains. That was like, this is going to take over to be the next town that's for Rhyolite. Because at the time, Rhyolite was the big town that everybody got all their water from and all the other stuff. I'm going to check the chat real quick. The saloon was probably cheaper than the company store. That's why the railroad didn't want them there. Well, there's that. And then, yes, the company didn't make the money on the company store. Hey, Glenn. Nice to join. I'm talking about red light women at the Death Valley Junction. On this Friday night, full moon. Woo! But yeah, that would make sense. But also, why would you want to walk an extra 4 miles? And at the time, the actual junction of Death, like the structure that's there now that has the Opera House and everything, wasn't there. At this time, there was no actual building there. It was all just camps and tents and stuff. So yeah, why walk the extra 4 miles? And then R32 potato skins are perfectly safe to eat. But yes, but there must have been a reason. Hi! What is... Samotesi? I have no idea. I probably really butchered that. But yeah, I'm sorry. But I'm figuring it had to be something else, maybe. I don't know. But see, yeah, because in 1908, there still was no railroad. So let's see. Kitty left the junction in 1908 to give birth to her 3rd son, George, in an LA hospital. But the 4th year, when she went into labor early with her 4th son, that's true. I forgot about this. She gave birth under a mesquite tree near what is actually the Opera House. So the Opera House is it's gone now because there was a brothel there also where the Opera House stands. Danny was small and would never quite gain the robust good health of his brothers, who roamed wild with the children of the Mexican section hands in the days before the school was established. Fierce Kitty was protective of the smaller, weaker boy, and he would be her companion for the rest of his life. And while Kitty's domestic responsibilities grew, so did the business at the Tubbs' saloon. Despite the fact that Inyo County government conducted its business on the far side of Death Valley, a day's ride away from the junction, report of unruly conduct there continued to reach officials. And among the county's effort to mitigate the untamed revelry of the passage of County Ordinances number 97, which barred women from saloons? This ordinance seemed to have little effect on Kitty, but it did have consequences for a woman named Hattie Cook. Okay, so before we figure out anything about Hattie Cook, I didn't know women couldn't go into the saloon. What is this Inyo County Ordinance number 97? Why can't ladies have a beer? What was that all about? Huh. That's fascinating. Did any of you guys? Boiling kills the germs. And the company store didn't have party girls. Yeah, I know. I'm going to grab some hot water super quick. It's just like 6 steps away from me. I heard 97. I heard a 96. Apparently women are 97. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's where 96 comes from. You guys like my shirt? You guys know where my shirt's from? Hi, CJ. I've never heard of 97, and I didn't even realize that, that was a thing that they couldn't have. Yes! Yep, The Sandlot. Yes! Isn't that a great movie? It's just like one of those movies that is just fun. Like for all ages. It's like good. It's for kids. It's made for kids, but it's fun for adults too. If you haven't seen The Sandlot, you should check it out. It's really fun. It's sweet. It's not like there's not a lot. I don't think there's any cussing. There's a famous New York bar called McSorley's that had been around for 150 years, and it didn't admit women to the 71 because the government made them. That's kind of based. Like, who was Mr. McSorley? He was taking that. He was standing on his laurels. He was like, no, men need a place to drink without the ladies. I mean, like, I can kind of. That's. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's slightly different because at least the ladies still had places they could go. But this was like ladies couldn't go any bars. But I guess that's maybe good because, I don't know. I guess that kept things like mellow. Because only half the population could get drunk or something. I don't know. But let's find out what happened to Hattie Cook. Because apparently Shotgun Kitty could have ladies in her salon. But Charles saying the ladies can't go to the bar because you start drinking and they cause trouble. They cause trouble with a capital T. Okay, so let's see what Hattie's doing. So Hattie Cook opened a saloon at the Junction in 1909 with her partner. That October, upon complaint of several local residents, Cook and Hoff, her partner's name was Hoff. Cook and Hoff liquor license was revoked by the Inyo County Board of Supervisors because it found that Hattie Cook is a woman and that she tends bar, she shakes ice, she drinks liquor, and becomes intoxicated in said premises. That said, Hattie Cook is not fit, proper, or suitable to be engaged in the selling of intoxicating liquor in Inyo County. Further, it was discovered that Hattie Cook was better known by the alias of Agnes Patry, a fat lady with a shady reputation. According to the Owens Valley Herald, Cook/Patry had formerly conducted a house of ill fame in that region and was probably the Mother Agnes who had set up shop along Diamond Tooth Lil in Greenwater. Because at this time, I bet Greenwater is gone. I forget the year that it's been a minute since I talked about Greenwater. So I know it only was around for a couple years. So it sounds like Mother Agnes and Diamond Tooth Lil, which we can read that another night because she's in here. Diamond Tooth Lil is. I wonder if I could service out in Greenwater. That would be super cool to like have a camp night and I could read the stories about the ladies in Greenwater. I don't know. I don't think I get service out there though. I just have ideas. That's okay. So, hold on, let me check the chat. Abel says, have we ever heard of the Victorian expression, the lady was in her teacups? Not bra sizes, but ounces of white lightning added. What you know about white lightning? There's Greek white lightning at the food festival. I think I've mentioned this before. It's always really good. And then I used to have a friend that made moonshine. That was kind of exciting. Okay, Trevin, I will see what I can do. I will reach out and I'll just take a drive out there. Maybe Shelton can drive out there with me. And cuz that would be cool. I'll add it to my list for sure. So let's see. So later that month, in an unexpected turnabout, Nels Hoff circulated a petition in DVJ signed by 55 people who live or work at near said town, including several Borax Company officials, asking the board to prohibit the sale of liquor entirely at the junction. But the supervisors saw little point in dealing with the petition as the county was about to go dry all over. Well, that's interesting. So he gets in trouble. Him and his partner get in trouble because she's a lady slinging beer. And his way to deal with it is like, fine, if I can't do it, then nobody can. Okay. I see how he's playing. Well, like I told you, nobody wanted to go dry. Hey, Maverick. Hi, Maverick. We're reading about red light ladies of Death Valley. I've already missed. There's been a couple pages. If you're just joining in, you can start back in the beginning, but if you're just joining, actually, you'll be fine. And if you're watching this at a later date, hi. So in 1911, under pressure from citizens in several districts, the county had district elections to determine how the residents felt about going dry. Of the 5 districts of Inyo County, only the 5th, which included most of Death Valley, voted to keep liquor legal. See, I told you, high times were to be had then in the junction. By the end of 1914, the company had moved its ore roasting plant and therefore a large number of its workers to the junction, and the prosperity of the Tubbs and the others doing business on the west side of the tracks was assured. The new regulations required for any applicant for a liquor license be vouched for by his neighbors. So Tubbs' status of a sober and suitable person to carry on and conduct business of selling intoxicating liquor was guaranteed by his old friend R.J. Dad Fairbanks, the husband of Kitty's friend Celestia. Fairbanks was known as a hard drinker, but it was also widely respected as a desert pioneer. By 1912, Kitty had come to realize the life as the matriarch of a disreputable roadhouse clan didn't suit her. She and Bob separated that year and divorced in 1914. I did not know that. I did not know that. Ooh, hi, Jerry. That is new information. There is so much information to know about anything in life. Anything. You just have to add layers upon layers upon layers. Jeez, like it's just crazy. I didn't know that they got divorced though. So hold on, let me check the chat. It said and thank you, Larry. I see Larry says if anyone can handle the video of the area, it'll be me. And thank you. I appreciate that. And my good friend Bobby, I was on a show Wednesday night. I was on a live interview show, and I thought it was very sweet. He called me the Queen of Death Valley. I was like, no. I was like, well, no, maybe not the Queen, but definitely, like, I'll definitely take reign of Princess. And Hoff, I don't think any relations to Hoff. I don't know. I'll have to Google that and see, because it is Hoff. And then my grandmother's second husband was a ridge runner and was gone all the time. And Why, thank you. I got a compliment on my curtains and my eyelash. Although I don't know what's on my curtain. That's weird. Something on my curtain. And then, yes, Trevin, divorced way back in the day. Because I knew, now Nevada was the state out of all the United States that's like, yeah, come here for divorce. But I didn't realize in 1914 you could still get it. Yeah, hemlock or black powder. Well, apparently not. I guess she realized it was good to be friends. And then Kitty moved with Danny across the straight lines into Ash Meadows, where she and Bob each then owned separate pieces of property. Kitty became a rancher and sometimes worked as a hotel cook. And then today, her granddaughters still enjoy recounting family legends of Kitty's fine marksmanship and how she could shoot game for dinner from the front porch without ever getting out of her chair. In her absence, business continued as usual at the Tubbs' establishment, though perhaps rather less organized. Frank Grace, who lived in Death Valley Junction in 1916, later recalled, there were 3 girls named Bess in the village. One was a school teacher, another was an Indian, and another was a prostitute. The third Bess lived across the tracks where the Opera House is, because I know that, is their shack was where the Opera House stands. And she was with another prostitute named Happy Days. Hey, Mr. Parker. Hi, James Parker. It's okay. I'm glad you're here. You can catch the beginning of the story. You just go back later. We're reading stories about the red light ladies at Death Valley Junction. Okay, funny story about Jenny at the Junction. So, I always knew about Bess and Happy Days, but when I got this book, is when I realized that Bess, it wasn't visit Bess and have happy days. Like, I thought it was a description to describe what happens when you go and visit Bess. That you go and you see Bess and you're like, happy days, I saw Bess and she was awesome. No, Happy Days was a person. That was her name in the brothel. So my apologies goes to anybody that I mistakenly, I'm sure everybody had Happy Days with Bess. But it was Bess and Happy Days, which is an actual person. So, by the end of 1916, they saw a county-wide prohibition again enforced, this time accompanied on a ban on gambling, and with no out clause for the 5th District. By the end of November that year, all establishments selling liquor were to cease and desist from such activity, and exorbitant deposits were given by Tubbs and their others for their license were returned. But an item in the Inyo Register in 1916 claimed that Tubbs had suffered no curtailment of his privileges, though some report that the county had gone dry by reached camp. Sources indicated that Tubbs continued to maintain a brothel at the back of his store and saloon, but this probably didn't last long after the passage of the California Red Light Abatement Act of 1916. Okay, so it sounds like in 1916, that's when everybody came to Nevada. Because California made it illegal. I bet. And for over 10 years, Tubbs in his isolated desert kingdom had ignored a variety of laws, ordinances, and attempts by the Borax Company to curtail his activities. But like it or not, the progressive era was upon the nation, and civilization was settling into Death Valley Junction. Bob Tubb would eventually clean up his act, and through an extraordinary turn of events resulting from losses in a poker game, go into partnership into the hotel business with a respectable widow named Abby Pierce. However, he also continued to operate a saloon and store at the Junction until he sold his property to the Borax Company in 1923. Because that's when they were building the hotels. The so-called hotel was recently bought by us for purposes of getting rid of the saloon, which attracted men with bootlegging liquor and for gambling, wrote a relieved company official to the higher up. The Junction then became a family town. Although you could literally just go 10 miles up the road to Nevada, and there was brothels, because the Tubbs still ran brothels in their Ash Meadow areas, because Ash Meadows wasn't Ash Meadows. I mean, it's always been Ash Meadows, but it's been a park only recently. And Tubbs moved to Ash Meadows, and with him went the last of the wide-open Death Valley boom camps, red light districts, and tent saloons. However, prostitution apparently continued to flourish on the small scale along the TNT railroad tracks, especially at the stops of Silver Lake and Baker. Ha! I know where Silver Lake is. Well, we all know where Baker is, but I know where Silver Lake is, and that would kind of make sense. Because it's past the Shoshone, it's past the little town, and Silver Lake, I mean, the town's gone. There's a cemetery there that I'd like to go to. But let's see. Until the rails were taken up for scrap in World War II. During the dismantling process in 1942, this item was reported to railroad officials from the small siding at Evelyn between DVJ and Shoshone. And Evelyn is another place that I love. We've talked about Evelyn before. I've just got a lot of places. There's a lot of places I know about and I go to. Evelyn, the only thing that's left at Evelyn right now is a tree. And somewhere in there is an underground cellar that kind of got buried in. But the house is gone. And there used to be a railroad where the railroad came through Evelyn, but then it also had like a spot where you could pull the car off to like fix it or, do stuff and take cars off and hook back up. Okay, so this is the final thing. Let's see what they say. At about 5:30 p.m., 3 colored whore ladies arrived at Evelyn and quartered themselves in the section foreman's house. At some time during the night, said to be Mexican, a Mexican gentleman is said to have attacked a colored gentleman with a knife. The latter countered with a club over the former's head, breaking the skull. Mexican friends took the injured party to Death Valley Junction and reported the matter to Officer Brown. Mr. Brown was here at breakfast time to get evidence and make arrests. Trial is to be held at Death Valley Junction today at 4 p.m. The whore ladies departed in their big Packard car immediately after the midnight melee. And with those whore ladies went the end of an era. Although, don't get mad at me, YouTube. I'm just using the language from the book. Oh man, YouTube's sensitive. I wonder if they'll ding me. I'll have to go through and do the little edits. That was so interesting. I don't know. Maybe you guys probably learned a lot because I knew a lot of this stuff, but I never read that whole story. Thank you, Trevin. Hi, Julie. Packards. I know. I gotta Google what kind of car that is. Isn't that like the big car? Yeah, it's like a giant car. It's the 40s cars were big. Julie, we just finished reading a story with my commentary about the red light women's of Death Valley Junction. There was quite a few. Bess and Happy Days for sure. And I mean, come on, Hattie Cook. I just want to know, like, Agnes. So Hattie Cook, because some of you might have come late. Hattie Cook had a bar. No, Evelyn is not north of Tonopah. Evelyn is south of Death Valley Junction. And it's south of Death Valley Junction. But Agnes, that's an interesting name to be a lady of the night. And Agnes doesn't sound like necessarily the most, like, sexy name. Agnes Patry. Oh, they're a big, round, elegant car. Well, hi, Super Mario Prince. How are you? Are you getting excited for Thanksgiving? We just finished stories about ladies of the night at Death Valley Junction. And I'm finishing up my video of I have another video of the junction coming, and I mentioned the Tubbs in there, but those of you who watch this live stream, then you're going to be like, oh, I know what she's talking about. I just don't talk about him. I talk Mr. Rogers. We go to Mr. Rogers' house. We're going to go to Mr. Rogers' house. We got the kids. It's the kids' birthdays. So November is always a very busy month. And like I had mentioned in the beginning of the video, I literally just filmed too many videos, and I got it under control now. Got it under control. We got some videos coming. I'm excited. Jeez. Sometimes, I wish everything was just like, yeah. Mr. Rogers not the Mr. Rogers. It's just another Mr. Rogers, and I just love that I get to say Mr. Rogers' house. They are easier, Glenn. That's what I realized. I was like, wait a second. It's fun when we open packages and stuff like that. But I don't really have any mail right now. And then I started thinking, and I was just like, well, what do I like? I'm like, I like to learn stuff. And so I just wanted to read this. So I was like, hey, let's do this. And it stays historical, mixed in with a little, hey. Does everybody have something to do for Thanksgiving? Or if you want to do something for Thanksgiving, do you have something to do for Thanksgiving? See, Charles says he's going to be on his way to Ohio. And Trevin, maybe it was a hot chick's name. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, Super Mario Prince. Nobody. It's always very horrible when people steal things. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's big or it's little. And especially if you were robbed, because it feels it's violating. It really is. I'm really sorry. That's really sad. I hope everything's okay, and I hope it's just all stuff that just can be replaced. Hopefully it wasn't anything. Hopefully everybody's okay, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it still just sucks, though. It still sucks. We're all a lot older than you. So we can tell you, it's glad everybody's okay, but it still just sucks. It's like, yeah, great. No, that's no fun. And then Lisa's going to get her family at Christmas. Aw, that'll be good. I'm excited. Thanksgiving's going to be here next week. We have the kids' birthday parties tomorrow. So we've been getting ready for that. They have separate birthdays, but we put the actual party together. So if you can find enough 45s for a shoot. Abel. I don't know what he's talking about, but and yes, that's a good news. Of course you want to report it to police. Maybe you'll get a chance to get back. Maybe not. You definitely want to report it to the police. That is good. Yeah, we're just staying here for Thanksgiving, and I actually just picked up a job. So I'm going to start training next week, and I'll be working a couple days a week in town. And Karen's son will be at college for Thanksgiving. We'll be home for Christmas. Yeah, Thanksgiving sometimes is too short of a window that you, to be able to, when you're in school. So yay for Christmas. That'll be great. I don't know if I'll see my daughter for Christmas. Maybe New Year's. I'm thinking about going up January. Oh, you're more than welcome, Lisa. Of course. I mean, sometimes I forget people's names, and then that's why I always say, if I forget your name or you forget something sometimes, please don't take it personally. But then sometimes I just remember all kinds of stuff. And yes, I was very concerned. Make sure everybody's okay. New York to Georgia is too far. That is too far. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. That's like a big. I got to get up to Oregon. That's not that far. It takes me 2 days just because I don't want to pretend I'm 22 anymore. I don't know. When you're younger, you're just like, yeah, I gotta go. I'm driving 17 hours. It's no big deal. At least I did that all the time. One night when I was younger, a lot younger. Gosh, I think I was like 21. Was I 21? Maybe. I must have been 21 because we went to Vegas. Like we followed a band and went all the way to Vegas because it was like a local band that we were friends with, kind of, sorta, and been all their shows. And then they had a show in Vegas the next night, and we were like, heck, let's go to Vegas. And so we followed them up. I went to Vegas, went to a show. I mean, that was fun. That just came flooding back to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that once. And I only live in North Las Vegas. Well, you know. I don't know much about North Las Vegas. I used to commute to downtown Los Angeles for work, so if something is an hour away, then it's just really just close by. And actually, yeah, I do, Trevin. I always capture video on the way to Oregon, and then when I'm in Oregon, not always on the way home. But I always capture one of the two ways, actually. Because this time I caught video on the way home. That's when I did all those roadside markers of the videos outside of Austin. So I tried to capture video, and then I try to capture video. I try to just capture video wherever I go. But like I had mentioned, all of a sudden I just had a bunch of video. And then an editing sometimes is you would like a dash cam. Dash cams are okay. I have one I can turn into a dash cam. And thank you, Larry. Very great story. I did outstanding with the reading. Thank you. I was hoping I would do okay. It's been a minute. Because I used to read books to kids. Because, yeah, I was going to school to be a teacher for little people. Yeah, K through 3rd. So, I mean, and please don't, I hope I just didn't offend anybody thinking I'm talking to you like little kids. And I was like, oh, you must speak clearly. You must speak slowly. Yes, Trevin, I have a mount and a Osmo action camera. It's honestly just a matter of being able to balance everything with my brain. And I do not mean that as an excuse. I just mean as an explanation. That it may look like I have everything put together, but that's just because I'm really good at making it look like I have everything put together. Hi, Sooner Girl. Charles, you missed the stories, but that's okay. You didn't miss anything. Sooner Girl, if you're interested in, oh, and Sooner, the other Sooner's in here too, I think. Sooner John, I think I saw you in here earlier. Hi, because I don't think I said hi to you. Sooner Girl, I read a story about prostitutes in Death Valley Junction. And so if you're interested in something like that, then later when we're done here, you can go back and watch. But it's nice to see you. Anybody listening, you guys, Sooner Girl Travels has a YouTube channel. And I just want to say, because, I mean, I always enjoy your videos, but your husband just cracks me up. He really does sometimes. Because I get you. Because you singing in that last video. No, don't worry about it. I didn't even know I was going live. Don't even worry about that. But then the one video with the super cool, like, conservation place, I think it was. He was just like how he was singing just cracks me up. He reminds me of my, I'm good. Well, yes, you've been married this long, so we know that he has to crack you up. You can tell you guys have a good little balance. Yeah. Yes. We'll have to read from that more. We're going to see if I can get cell service out in Greenwater. Because that would be fun. Because, and especially my friend Bobby's coming back. So that's good because then I have somebody to camp with. And my buddy Shelton is able to go camping with me too now. Happy birthday, Shelton, by the way. It's Shelton's birthday. Happy birthday, Shelton. He's not watching, though, because it's a birthday. But he might watch later, so we'll just say happy birthday. But yeah. So I was just reading stories, and we're all saying, hey, what we're doing for Thanksgiving. And I will, that worked out perfect, because it's just about an hour, which is just about what I can do. Oh, thank you, Sooner Girl. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going back out to, I'm just trying to get out to the park as much as possible. Glenn, no, to work at the whorehouse, you have to, we could do, I could do a video about that. That could be a whole nother video. You guys, I just have like a whole list of videos. But yes, in order to work at the brothels that are in Nye County, they're not in Pahrump, they're in Nye County, you have to apply. You have to be tested. You have to, I think you have to be vaccinated. I think that they added that. Yeah, I think it's those three things. But they have like a waiting list. Like they got people in line. Yeah, no, you're fine. So that's exactly, I guess, if you want to get a job there. But no, that is not my, it's not, no. I know. I know you were. I was just like, yeah, no, that's not where I was going. Although, they do have like regular jobs at brothels. In case anybody was wondering, they do have regular jobs at brothels. There's bartender, cooks, and all that kind of stuff. Sherry's has a restaurant and a pool table, and you can go get burgers and shoot pool and just hang out with the chicks. I've done that a couple times. That was interesting. It was interesting. The onion rings were really good. I'm not sure. I definitely realized that, like, once we got there, and then that I wasn't taking into account the fact that these were all like my guy friends, and of course they're gonna love any burger that's in a restaurant filled with half-naked women, right? So, because they all swore by like, oh my gosh, this is like the best, they got the best burger. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, they can have good burgers in really weird places, right? Like good food could be anywhere. Like we have the most amazing Thai restaurant and it's connected to a gas station. But it's so clean and it's just, they're from Thailand. So we went for burgers to shoot pool with the mainly naked ladies. And they were not the best burgers in town. Sorry, Sherry's. It was not. It was not. So, you could say your literacies. Oh, man. Yeah, there are, I'm not sure which I know I know the two brothels closest to Vegas are open. I believe the Alien Cat House is open. I know when I drove to Oregon, there weren't so many brothels that were open. Um, and I realized I got cut off right at the middle of thanking the Sooner girl in that yes, that is that. Thank you so much. I'm planning a trip. My friend out in Tacoma reached out to me, and we're gonna go do Titus Canyon. And so I've been wanting to do it. I just can't do it by myself because my car is just on the edge of like, oh no, I think you can make it because you don't have to have super high clearance, but you gotta have somebody there. I don't want to go alone. And so they reached out. They just got back from, did you know there's a Baker, Nevada? How many people knew there was a Baker, Nevada? I knew there's a Baker, Nevada. But there's a Baker, Nevada. So that's my big trip because it would involve me camping. And I did some camping with my friend Bobby when he came. And I'm sure most people know that I do some car camping, but I am kind of new to camping. So I just learned, and it's nice to go. But the Titus Canyon ends and drops you out at the racetrack playa with the rocks that move. Oh no, if anybody's if you guys have seen that. So yes, I'm just super excited. And part of me's thought sometimes if I just stop editing, if I just give you raw footage, like just less editing. I mean, I still have to piece things together. When I worked at LAX, there was a strip club a few miles down Aviation Boulevard from where I worked. They actually did have good food. Exactly. That is why when somebody said that the brothel had the best burgers, I thought, no, Super Mario Prince, I have not been to the new Allegiant Stadium. I've driven past it though, and I saw a video last week of the Thunderbirds that flew over the stadium for some kind of welcoming thing. It's really beautiful. I do question how, I mean, it's so close to downtown, but it's there. It's not going anywhere. But it's all black mirrored and it looks beautiful. Did you go? Did you get to go see a game? Yeah, Karen, I do too. It's on the whole other side of the park. So we're going to see it. And I mean, I'll go film it for everybody. And then if you can't make it yourself. Yeah, you got to go? Oh, that's great. Did you see a Raiders game? I guess that's the only people who play, right? Are you a Raiders fan? I'm not a football person, although I enjoy a good football game. I definitely enjoy a good football game. I enjoy any kind of sport that's good. That, if it's a good game, I think it's enjoyable. And then, yeah. And so, well, this is all good. And Glenn, no, and just in case everybody's noticing, I'm going to be slinging coffee. I took a super, have you ever been to Vegas? Yeah, I go to Vegas, not all the time. I go to Vegas maybe once a month. We go every 6 months for sure, for the kids, for the dentist. I have my knee doctors over there. My foot doctor's over there. Greek food's over there. Arby's is over there. The kids like it when I bring them Arby's home from when I come home from when I drive home from my dad's in Arizona. I usually time it so that I could pick up Arby's for the family and we can come home. Because the little Arby's that's off on Blue Diamond is actually a really, really good Arby's. Because you know how sometimes fast food, if you have workers that don't care, the fast food is bad. And really, it doesn't need to be that bad. There's no reason why it should be, like, not good. But whoever owns that Arby's right there, it's like everything is always... I've only been there 3 times, but every time it's been amazing for like a fast food restaurant. So, shout out. I'm not sponsored by the Vegas. Yeah, no, that's down in the south part. I go to North Vegas for the Japanese market, Nakata market, and B&H camera. That's what I do in North Vegas. And the Dead Roadkill Roadkill Barbecue? I think it's called the Roadkill Barbecue. Oh yeah, Tommy's in Vegas. But I grew up on the original Tommy's Burgers in Los Angeles, and so I don't want to ruin that by having a bad experience. So we are coming up on about an hour, which is about, that's about where I'm at. That's about how much I can handle. I don't know about you guys. Although, yes, I do know that, and I did see, what did you say? Somebody said something up here. Larry drove all the way. Karen said she camped out near me in October. And then Larry had said he drove all the way from Virginia to spend Thanksgiving with your new lady. That is so exciting. Larry, that's so great. That's cool. You'll have to share a picture. I won't share with anybody, but you'll have to share a picture. That'll be good. I'm happy for you. It's always good that to have somebody. My first uncle lives in Vegas. My second uncle lives in California. My final uncle lives in Mexico. I got an uncle in Oregon and an uncle in Tennessee. That's where my uncle's at. Oh, they're all still owned by the family, so Tommy's in Vegas is just as good. Okay, thank you, Charles. Thank you very much. Thank you for telling me that. Then maybe I'll try Tommy's. I'm still waiting to try the cotton candy ice cream burrito. I've tried to get many people to go with me to do that. Nobody wants to go. So I'm just going to go by myself and just not eat the whole thing. But I don't know why nobody wants to go. It's like it's a big thing of homemade cotton candy, and then they put ice cream in it, and they put toppings, and then they roll it up like a burrito. Oh, thanks. I don't know, Tevin. I don't know why anybody doesn't want to go get the ice cream cotton candy burrito with me. Usually, when we go to Vegas with the kids, and by the time we spent the day there, granted, I can understand why my brother is a little bit like, hey, I just want to go home. But my buddy Shelton, nope, don't know why. I, years ago, tried to get EFX5. Nope, don't know why. I'm like, why does nobody want the ice cream burrito? And yes, Bobby's coming back out. Yeah, bye, Von Dutch. Bobby's coming back out in January, I think. Yeah, it's probably going to make my teeth hurt. It might. I probably won't eat much of it. It just sounds so exciting. Like, who would ever? It seems like a Vegas thing. Like, whoever would get that? I don't know. I tried their cotton candy once, though. It was really good. Because they had an ice cream cone with cotton candy in the middle of it. And I tried that. But the burrito just sounds so exciting. So exciting. But then thank you, Glenn. I like the live streams, too. And if anybody's on TikTok, I'm only 80 people away from going live on TikTok. Yeah, sorry. I think my friend Josh, yeah, sorry, all the people are like, that's too much sugar, Jenny. And it is. It is too much sugar. You're right. Okay. So maybe we'll just go with a whole group of people. I'll have to wait. We'll have to some kind of I've been joking that we should do some kind of meet and greet YouTube Tacopa weekend, so then we can all go venture to Vegas, but I don't know. We'll see. I know. I'm sorry, Von Dutch. Everybody's like, what? That's like the year that I made caramel corn for all the yayas at church for my name day, and 3 of them were diabetic, and I was just mortified. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to and they were like, no, it's okay. They understood that I didn't realize their health issues, but I felt bad because they couldn't have any of my caramel corn. I was like, oh man. Although Mrs. Mrs. Mangalos ate a piece because she said that she had to try it, and she said it was very, very good, which coming from Mrs. Mangalos, eternal be her memory, she was an awesome lady. I will take that. Yes. Yes, I would definitely say, please do not go join you do not have to go join anything to deal with the tickety talk, because it truly is, you know, owned by another country. But that's okay. That's okay. That's another conversation. Yeah, just a tiny bit. It's a tiny bit. I make homemade caramel corn. It's my grandma's recipe. It's I'm gonna toot my horn on that. Toot toot. That's my like I make some good caramel corn. That's for certain. So, well, I almost was just thinking to myself, I did say I was going to say goodbye like 8 minutes ago, and then I keep still talking, but I definitely am going to say goodbye because I'm going to pop inside and get the final details. I have to make all the party favors for the birthday party tomorrow. And then just get some sleep because we're having a party. and you know, you gotta supervise those little people. Everything will be fine, but you know, there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. And then I will be posting my video. You have a good night too. Thank you, Trevin. And the next video up will be here just in a day or so. I'll get that up for you guys, and have a great Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna post on Thanksgiving, but I'm gonna try and post on Wednesday. I'm gonna try and post on that Wednesday, and we will go from there. Yes, no, oh, rats yourself, Charles. Rats yourself. You're fine. Just put it on replay. That'll give me some watch time. Yeah, I thank you everybody for smashing that like button, because I could tell everybody smashed the like button for me. That is awesome. And I know that there was probably somebody who gave me the one down, but you know what? I can't even see it anymore because they took that away. So I don't care. I don't care. I just got a bunch of people that sends love. I know, Charles. But yes, and Larry, have a great Thanksgiving. And Glenn and Trevin and Simatesi, that's what I'm gonna roll with. And Julie, Super Mario Prince, Von Dutch, Karen, anybody else that's still in here. I thank you. You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful that you came. I know. Don't forget to tip your waist. Pump that stock. That's what CoffeeZilla always says. I like him. Pump that stock. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. Good night. Night, Jerry. Night, Glenn. Karen. Kenny. Jace Parker. Julie, I see you peeking in there. Hi.